Let's continue the discussion around COSATU's nationwide mass action, the Labour Federation protesting against unemployment, wage cuts, poverty and inequality. Labour expert Andrew Levy joining us now to give us his sense of the action that's taking place on our streets today. Andrew, good morning to you and thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with, once again, this kind of mass action. We've seen it before. In fact, just a few days ago, yesterday to be exact, I spoke to the COSATU General Secretary who said, we have embarked on this before, but there really was no achievement. Talk to us about what it is, therefore, that they aim to achieve this time around, if there is that admission already.
You know, I think the first thing one must do is to make a distinction between this action and normal strike action. This is something completely different. The Labour Relations Act allows for what we call sometimes the political strike. And it's not a strike against a particular employer saying we want more money or we want this or we want that. They are reflecting the concerns and the protests of that class that you might call workers or the working class. And if you look at what they are protesting about, the subject itself, not necessarily their remedy for solving it, most people will have a great degree of sympathy with it. I mean, we're all concerned with unemployment. We are all concerned with corruption. We are all concerned with service delivery. These things that most South Africans, no matter what their class or their belief or their colour, are deeply dissatisfied with the government.
Mr. Levy, I hate to interrupt you, but I've got to quickly get in here because you touch on a matter that actually speaks to exactly why COSATU says it's in the streets, and that's to do with the working class. That particular matter is no more relevant than what we are witnessing this morning or waking up to this morning, and that is the tragedy in Boksburg. People have died as a result of gas inhalation, and they're blaming it on illegal zamazamas. That talks to issues of corruption, that talks to issues of labor controls inside South Africa. Shouldn't these efforts be targeted towards stopping things like illegal mining?
I mean, it's a very good question, but I think the answer is, one has got to say, is that the business of the trade unions? I mean, clearly they can have no direct influence as they would normally by organizing those workers. Those zamazamas are absolutely unorganizable and a law unto themselves. So it cannot operate directly because in any event, who is the employer? What they are saying is that government must take more action. And, if that is the theme, then whether it's zamazamas or it's service delivery generally or it's corruption generally, it's all part of the same thing.
Okay.
And it's part of government inactivity. That's the nub.
Well, let's finish the conversation then on this point. The relevance of labor movements in South Africa. Just how relevant are they today?
Well, once again, it's a very, very broad question, and it's a very, very interesting question. They are relevant from a working place point of view and from a labor relations point of view. One, in those plants where they have membership. Two, at NEDLAC, which is a route into government. Are they as important politically as they were? Well, we all know of the alliance and, sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's weaker. But the fact that they are protesting is relevant. Does it reflect concerns of the working class? Yes, it probably does. But are COSATU in a position to stop the whole economy? Are they an absolutely immovable force? No, they're not. Membership has been dwindling. That is in line with the world. It's gone down very significantly. And ironically, the one area where it has been growing and is very strong is in the public sector, which of course is the biggest employer in this country. So if you say, well, are they able to affect things? The public sector strikes, certainly. Could they stop the economy? No.
Andrew Levy, let me thank you very much for your time. Labour analyst there, giving us his thoughts on COSATU's Day of Action.